After the last session, 2 days before, I had this really joyful experience of a question popping up in my mind. And that was actually the first time that I really consciously noticed what fun it is to have a new question.
And here's the most important thing to realize about that. Did it feel to you like you received the question?
Right, yes, exactly.
Isn't that a wonderful thing?
Oh,
to
it
recognize that you're in the vibrational vicinity and therefore you receive the question, which is the precursor to the answer, but it's all part of the unfolding. And don't you like knowing that?
Yes.
Because so often you think that you're running around unknowing with all of these questions, and that source is giving you the answers, when very often your path of least resistance is guiding you to the question, because without a juicy question there can be no juicy answer.
Right,
Yes.
right. And I was so full of joy, and with the question, I knew I would get in the hot seat with this question because it came from source. The question came from source, so of course I will.
We agree with that.
And the thing was, why ever settle for less than the best? Which is a question, but somehow it's an answer too. So I would just like you to expand on that. It's just such a good feeling, because the moment the question popped into my mind, there were sort of glimpses of situations in my life where I actually settle for less than the best.
Well, here's the thing. Your question is the beginning of a wonderful discussion. And it's not so much about settling for less than the best. It's more about you can't go back. There's no regression.
Right.
You cannot desire less than you know. And this is the reason that this question matters so much. It isn't about having had a lovely experience and then having less lovely experiences, settling for less than the best. That's not what this is about. It's about life causing you to achieve a vibrational state of being, and then you not keeping up with the state of being that you have accomplished. That's what that was about. You feel how the interpretation of it is exactly the same? You can't settle for less than life has caused you to become. You've got to close that gap if you are to be joyful.
Right.
So it really isn't about eating at a wonderful restaurant and then eating in a less wonderful restaurant, because there are wonderful things to experience wherever you are. It really is about life causing you to become more than you are letting yourself be. And you cannot stand in that holding yourself back from what life has caused you to be and feel good at the same time. You like that?
I do.
Can you feel how that's what it's about? No regression. You can't go back. But it's not just going back in the physical sense. We really want to make a distinction here. And all of you are at a place where you can really understand this. This is not the distinction about the conditions or the manifestations of things. It's not about what most humans are doing as they're making piles of relationships and piles of experiences and piles of physical material things and calling them good piles and bad piles. It's not about manifestations. It's about the becoming. It's about the understanding. It's about the knowledge. It's about the acquiring of a vibrational frequency and having the gut feeling, emotional guidance, concentrated awareness of maintaining it the way you want it to be. You cannot slip back from the joy that you know. You can't experience joy on a steady basis and then put up with depression or with anger. You cannot come into sync with who you really are and then ever be happy again with any long-term disallowance of that.
Right, yes, I experienced that. So, well, you just answered the question with our friend before. I would like to ask, how can I stay in this joy? But somehow that's my work, I think.
That is your work. And the answer is simpler than you think. And the answer is in the question that you ask, just like you said.
Yes.
You can't go back.
Yeah.
You can't settle for less than you know and feel good. And because you now know what it feels like to feel good, and you now are not willing for very much time to not feel good, then isn't it all a self-built-in perfect situation where it's just a matter of knowing that you like to feel good? In other words, if you didn't know how much you like to feel good, then we'd need to have a long conversation here. But you know how much you like to feel good, and so you're just not willing to put up with much conversation that doesn't feel good. Even for the sake of clarifying something, it's not worth it. Even for the sake of clarifying, you can't go back. You can't go back.
Because so far I always said, like, let it come and I'll make the best of it. But that sort of is not what's in this new question.
Let's put it this way. You're going to really like this. You said, let it come and I'll make the best of it. And we say, make the best of it and watch what comes.
I like that.
So let's say something comes and it's not that good because you weren't paying attention. But you make the best of it. So now you've made the best of it, and you have deliberately made the best of it. So now you're in a pretty good vibration. So what comes once you've made the best of it is even better. And then once you make the best of that, what comes next is even better. So the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. When you make the best of it, there are those who make the worst of it, but there are those who make the best of it. And you can't go back. And those who make the worst of it, they are so mad at themselves because they can feel that they too cannot go back. Don't you know that? You can't go back. You can't feel good and then not feel good. That's why we love it when you make the decision to come on a voyage like this, where you experience so much beauty. So much beauty. So much. The beauty agrees. So much beauty. So much well-being. Because it causes you to set a new set point from which you can't go back. So it isn't a matter of meaning to hold yourself there. You can't not. In other words, life is setting the new standards for you. And once you discover them, they must be fulfilled if you are to be the joyful person that you were born to be. Yes?
Yes.
We like what you received.
So did I, yes.
Enough?
Enough. Oh, yes. Thank you.